So procrastination is basically a simple term for a deep problem with human nature. And the problem has to do with time. We live in the here and now, but what's good for us is often long in the future. And we have plans. In the future, we will save money, and we would eat healthily, and we would exercise, and we would do this, and we would do that, and we will do all that. Today, I just don't feel like it. Today, the chocolate cake is tempting, and the gym is far away, and it's a little too humid outside, and I really saw a new bike, and I don't feel like saving. So procrastination is about the problem that we're just not designed to think about the long term. Right? Why would nature even get us to think about what will happen 30 or 50 or 60 years from now? So we think about now, and the now is much more powerful, and the future doesn't work. A personal story, I was in hospital for many years, and one of the things that happened was I got hepatitis C from an infected blood that they gave me as a blood donation. And in the beginning, they didn't know it was hepatitis C. They just said hepatitis, and it would flare up from time to time and make my recovery much, much slower. And about 6 years later, they identified the virus for hepatitis C, and I knew what I had. And then there was a treatment called interferon. And interferon is a medication that was developed for hairy cell leukemia. It's an unpleasant medication. After each injection, I would feel vomiting and sick and fever and so on. And I had to take these injections 3 times a week for a year and a half. So now think about this problem. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I had to go home, measure in the syringe the injection, plug it into my thigh, and inject myself, knowing that in an hour I will start vomiting and having fever and so on. It's very tough to do, right? But that's really the basic human problem. That there's something that is good for us in the future. I really don't want to die from liver cirrhosis. But the steps that we can take now are incredibly painful to fix that. So we often don't do that. This, by the way, brings us to the second issue about what do we do about it? How can we overcome it? So when I finished this year and a half of treatment, the doctors told me that I was the only patient that they ever had that took their medications regularly. And you can wonder, do I have more self-control than other people? But I don't. I eat the same junk food, and I do the same mistakes, and I procrastinate just the same way. But I created a trick for myself. And the trick is that I love movies. If I had time, I would watch lots of movies. So I said I'm not watching movies any other time but Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And on those mornings, I would go to the video store. I would rent 2 or 3 movies that I like. I would have them in my backpack for the whole day, anticipating watching them. And when I would get home, I would inject myself. I would get a blanket for the shivering. I would get a bucket for the vomiting. And I would start watching a movie immediately. I didn't wait until I would get sick. I basically tried to create a connection between the injection and something I loved. And I think that's basically one of the tricks we can try and do to ourselves. We say, we are not designed to care about the future. We just can't change that. We just can't change the fact that we'll think every day, what I do now will translate to 30 years from now. So instead what we can do is we can create other benefits that will be more in the present, kind of import new benefits for the present.